And good morning and welcome to Christian Education Today. Today is the second day of June, and in many places around our nation is the celebration of what is called Pride Month. And it is a time of shame for this nation, as we see in many places just displays of what is so-called Pride Month is abomination, the parades and the like. I wanted to give a short history of this movement in our nation. Why the month of June? What is some of the history that we see? A brief history of some of the perversion. About 100 years ago, a group was established in the state of Illinois called the Society for Human Rights. A German American by the name of Henry Gerber established this, and it was one of the first organizations that we know to promote homosexuality and perversion. It did not last long. There were troubles that this man faced. Later, you have the Mattachine Society, founded by Henry Hay. And then in 1969, June 28th through July 3rd, you have what are called the Stonewall Riots. Police had gone into a bar, an illegal bar, a bar that promoted all sorts of abomination, and the police were attacked by homosexuals and others. Because this took place in June, year 1969, the month of June has been designated. It started, in fact, in 1970, the first of the parades, looking back on the Stonewall riots. So that's why the month of June has been known this way. It's interesting to consider some of the political changes that took place. In 1996, President Clinton signed the Defense of Marriage Act. And I found this very interesting. This act defining marriage between one man and one woman at the federal level, this passed 342 to 67 in the House, 85 to 14 in the Senate. Clinton was critical of the legislation, but he signed this into law September 1996. Imagine something like that being passed today. It's unimaginable. So that was 1996. It seemed like there was at least some resistance to the influence of homosexuality. But then, not that many years later, Lawrence versus Texas, the Supreme Court ruled that any states that had laws against sodomy, that those laws were unconstitutional. 10 years later, DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, was declared unconstitutional. And then 2 years after that, Obergefell versus Hodges, the Supreme Court mandated that they somehow found in the U.S. Constitution a right to, quote, same-sex marriage. That is some of the political history. And one thing that we can say is it's moved very quickly. It picked up momentum, and it ended up moving very, very quickly. Well, where do we go from here? I would say there are no quick solutions, but there are quick compromises. We must do everything we can to ensure that our families and local churches remain faithful to God's truth while not remaining silent on these issues. It is well past the time to make sure that our children are not being daily indoctrinated through education and entertainment. As we consider the month of June, let us be in prayer. This is a month for spiritual battle and witness to sinners still trapped in the bondage of this world and its perversions. We do this not thinking, oh, we are so high and mighty. We do this because we recognize the grace of God given to us. So there is nothing of which we boast other than that God has been gracious to sinners. I hope this history will encourage you to understand what has taken place and to prayerfully consider what should we be doing to bring a faithful witness. May the Lord bless and strengthen you as families for his glory.